Joining us to discuss this and so much more is Janie Smith, CEO of Smart Advantage, a management firm specializing in uncovering hidden assets that can be optimized to offset rising costs. Janie, it's good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
But of course, so let's jump right into this. Is it fair to say, because of what's happening in Iran, a number of small businesses, in essence, really need to take heed? In this case, they are scrambling to come up with alternative ways to really protect themselves. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, there are many ways in which small businesses and mid-sized businesses and large businesses can protect themselves. I've written a book called Creating Competitive Advantage, talking about it for 20 years. Businesses need to create value before there is a downturn, before things slow down. And they do that by creating value, create value by uncovering competitive advantages. And I got to tell you, I've done this for hundreds of companies, and they all have ways in which to create a value proposition that will give customers a reason to buy from them that they won't get from their competitors. So there's a number of things they can do that way, and I'm happy to talk you through them if you'd like.
Well, please do. I mean, obviously, I think the key word here is being somewhat creative, and you are a guru of all things surrounding that. I'm hoping you could speak to the invisible errors and what they cost entrepreneurs and small business owners overall, which typically turn out to be big bucks.
Yeah, some are errors and some are just oversights. So one of the things that we look for is what are you doing for a customer that saves time, saves money? People will always pay more for value if they see value, but if you're giving it and you're not declaring it, they won't see it. So one of the examples I like to give, so I work with a group of industry that does dryer vent cleaning. And they all advertise and call all over the neighborhood for why you need to, hire us to do your dryer vent. They neglect to talk about how much charred lint comes out of there. They neglect to talk about how much better airflow you get in your dryer, saving electricity and drying faster. Those are values that a service gives a customer that they're not talking about. And I'm just giving you that one example. We see it in every single business.
Yeah.
A food company does smoked salmon. We said, okay, so what about it? Oh, we smoke salmon daily. So what does it do for the customer? Oh, it gives it an extra week of shelf life. Extra week of shelf life is dollars. It's money. And so those are the kinds of mistakes and oversights that businesses do regularly that are leaving money on the table.
Yeah, it's truly surprising. And speaking of surprising, we are all dealing with AI, which, well, it surprised not only the consumer, but a lot of business owners as well. And I guess to that point is, we know that AI can't rescue bad data, but in some cases, it can only make it worse. And I'm hoping you can expand on that.
Oh, gosh, yes. So our process at my company is we go in, we uncover potential differentiators, and there's scores of them in every company. They don't even know it. And then we do double-blind market research to find out of everything we've uncovered, what is most valued. Okay, now we know the top 3 buying criteria. Now, do you have metrics for those? And we will ask them, if you want to say that you've got 99% order accuracy, send us the data so you can prove it. Well, I got to tell you, about 85% of the time, the data that companies send us is wrought with errors. It's tracking the wrong thing. It's coding things wrong. It's letting default zones pick up on an Excel spreadsheet. And so, that leads to the next thing is you can't go to AI. You can't have garbage in and garbage out if your existing data and metrics are about the wrong things and laden with errors.
Yeah. One of the things that you have stated is many times you can use what you already have in-house to grow your revenue in times of change. I read that line and I sat here and I thought, wow, that's so true. But yet again, so many folks have yet to implement just that.
Well, it's because they overlook their own competitive advantage, their own differentiators. They take for granted. I always say businesses don't take for granted that which is taken for granted. If you're doing things, if you're giving away free training, we did some work for a university in New York, and they found 85% of the interns who got internships jobs, and they weren't saying that. I mean, those are the kinds of things that are there already that they're not talking about. So the goal is, my book spells out very clearly how to find your own competitive advantages, how to find the differentiators that you can't see anymore because you do it on a regular basis. I always talk to people, you can't be telling. You've got to be able to answer the question, why us? And you can't say because we have better service, better employees, good quality. It means nothing. It's cliches. And I always look for businesses that are dying because they are cliche ridden.
Wow.
You've got to prove value. You've got to have the metrics that stand up to and support the things the customer values. What is the customer buying from you? What do they want from you? They want on-time delivery. They want error-free. They want a warranty that you'll honor. And you might have a statement that says we've had less than 2% warranties in the last year, and 98% of them were handled within the first 2 days. That's a powerful trust builder.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of things that companies miss over and over again.
Which really leads me to my next question, and perhaps you have already answered that. In that case, I'm making reference to convincing your customers to keep spending. Not now, but right now, Janie. How would one go about to do that?
Yeah, you don't convince them to to keep buying. You make it easy for them to feel confident that a purchase they're making is valuable. You show them how you're saving them time, saving them money. You show them the durability of the product. And again, you don't just say, here it is, it's on the shelf, here it is, we'll come out and take care of it. You've got to explain to them the value of the transaction. And it sounds complicated. It's not complicated. It's easy. You're already doing it. One of the examples I like to give when I talk to audiences about, you put yourself in commodity corner when you say you should buy from us because of good customer service, good quality, and it sounds like everybody's saying the same thing. So
Sure.
You don't say that. So my favorite example is, how many of you have bought lettuce in a bag for $4 when you're buying 30 cents worth of lettuce? Why? Why did you spend $4 on a bag of lettuce that costs 30 cents in reality? You did it to save time and be more convenient. So what are the ways, and I ask, your audience should say, what are the ways in which we're making life a lot easier for our clients, our customers? What are the ways in which we save them a lot of time? And what are we giving them? Are we giving, one company we worked with is an RV company. They gave people who bought RVs many, many hours of free training on how to use the RV, how to maintain it. And their competitors were not doing it at that level. Well, that's the kind of thing you need to talk about. They'll buy from you instead of the other guy when you show them what you're delivering.
Yeah. One of the many things I would assume that one would learn should they read the book, Creating Competitive Advantages. As for me, Janie, my big takeaway, I need to rethink where and when I'm purchasing lettuce. I guarantee you that, simply because of
Yeah, not just that, but the other thing, when we do the double-blind market research for companies, we always ask them, we said we tested 20 buying.
Actually, I'm going to have to leave it right there.